Just imagine, you're one step away from winning the biggest match of your life, but then it all goes wrong. Snooker isn't just about pots and breaks. It's full of emotions, pressure, and heartbreak. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 most heartbreaking losses in snooker history. Moments that made fans cry and players break down. Stick around, because number 1 is a moment that shook the snooker world to its core and still breaks fans' hearts today. Welcome to Snooker Hub, where snooker's biggest stories come to life. Starting off with number 10, we revisit the year 2000 at the Crucible Theater. A moment that could have sealed Ken Doherty's place in history. He was just one shot away from snooker perfection, a 147. The crowd was already on their feet, sensing greatness. But with only the final black remaining, he missed. That single painful miss not only denied him a perfect break, it denied him a spot in the record books. At number 9, we have one of the most chaotic and heartbreaking deciders in Crucible history. Anthony McGill versus Kyrne Wilson, the 2020 World Championship semifinal. It was a back-and-forth war of nerves, tied at 16-16, with everything riding on one final frame. That 33rd frame turned into total madness. Flukes, fouls, failed safeties, and an emotional roller coaster that had fans glued to their screens. McGill had multiple chances, but the tension got the better of him. One fluke by Wilson on a wild red sealed it, and McGill could only sit there, devastated. Wilson fell to the floor in disbelief, while McGill quietly walked off, heartbroken. It was the kind of defeat that stays with a player forever, and with everyone who watched it unfold.
It's close.
It's perhaps the most remarkable frame in the history of the World Championship has gone the way of Kyrne Wilson, who fluked frame ball green, but that doesn't even begin to tell the story.
Coming in at number 8 is a mental battle between two snooker titans, Mark Selby versus Ronnie O'Sullivan, in the 2020 World Championship semifinal. Selby was in control, leading 16-14 and needing just one more frame to reach the final. But Ronnie, never one to back down, launched a fearless comeback. He won 3 frames in a row with aggressive, attacking play, flipping the match on its head and taking it 17-16. Selby was stunned. In the post-match interview, he admitted he felt mentally drained and was upset with Ronnie's shot choices, calling them disrespectful.
And this is the first time that he's beaten Mark Selby at the Crucible Theatre. What an absolute semi-final this has been. Two great champions. Mark congratulates Ronnie.
At number 7, it's a heartbreaking moment for one of snooker's most beloved figures. Paul Hunter in the 2003 UK Championship semi-final against Ken Doherty. Hunter had fought brilliantly to get within touching distance of the final. He led 8-7, just one frame away, and looked calm under pressure. But in those final frames, Doherty's experience came through. He turned the tide, winning 3 on the bounce to snatch it 9-8. For Hunter, it was a crushing blow. And sadly, he would never again get that close to a major final before his illness. This wasn't just a loss. It was a what-could-have-been moment for a player whose career and life were both tragically cut short.
Someone's gracious smile, despite his crushing sense of disappointment.
Number 6 is a crushing near miss for Ken Doherty in the 2003 World Championship final against Mark Williams. Doherty had already won the title in 1997 and was chasing a second crown, and he looked ready to take it. After a slow start, Ken found his rhythm and led 11-10 heading into the final session. But Williams, calm and clinical, stepped it up just when it mattered. He reeled off key frames with ice-cold precision, eventually pulling away to win 18-16. For Doherty, it was a golden chance lost. He had beaten legends like Paul Hunter and John Higgins to reach the final, only to fall just short. It would be his last appearance in a Crucible final, making the defeat even harder to swallow.
The blue finishes on the floor, but that doesn't matter. Mark Williams clinches the title with a break of 77.
At number 5, it's one of the most painful near misses. Mathew Stevens versus Shaun Murphy, the 2005 World Championship final. Stevens had already lost a world final in 2000, and 2005 felt like his chance at redemption. He was the favorite against qualifier Shaun Murphy, a 22-year-old outsider making a dream run. But the fairy tale wasn't Stevens. Murphy played bold, fearless snooker, sinking long pots and showing no sign of nerves under the Crucible lights. Despite Stevens' best efforts, Murphy pulled away and sealed it 18-16, becoming the first qualifier to win the title since 1979. For Stevens, it was another bitter blow. 2 finals, 2 losses, and his chance at becoming world champion was gone.
Rotary hug. Because Shaun Murphy has beaten Mathew Stevens.
Number 4 takes us back to 2011, when a 21-year-old Judd Trump lit up the Crucible with one of the most electrifying runs in recent memory. He was fearless, firing in long pots, clearing up with style, and fans were calling him the next big thing. In the final against Higgins, Judd led 12-9, and it looked like he was about to complete the perfect fairy tale. But Higgins, a three-time world champion, dug deep. He slowed the tempo, turned up the pressure, and clawed his way back into the match. Judd's momentum faded just slightly, and that was all Higgins needed. He closed it out 18-15, crushing Trump's dream. It wasn't just a loss, it was a coming-of-age heartbreak for one of the game's most exciting talents.
Well, that's the handshake from Judd Higgins in a very interesting session of snooker. This young player, Judd Trump, shows he's not going to be frightened of John Higgins. Both players share the opening 8 frames, and it's all square at 4-all.
Coming in at number 3 is not just one match, but a string of painful exits for Mark Allen at the Crucible. One of the most talented players of his generation, Allen has won major titles like the UK Championship and the Masters. But when it comes to the World Championship, it's been a story of heartbreak. He's had multiple deep runs, quarterfinals, semis, but time and again, he's collapsed under the pressure. In 2009, he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in a huge upset, only to lose in the semis. In 2023, after one of his best seasons, he froze in the semis against Mark Selby, scoring just 5 points in a key frame. For fans, it's painful to watch. Allen has the game to be world champion, but at the Crucible, the dream keeps slipping away.
And is there any reason why you felt a bit flat or anything? Can you put your finger on it at the moment?
No, that's something I'm going to have to sit down with my coach and talk about. But yeah, I just never really got in that match mentally. I didn't feel involved. It was like I was watching it from the outside looking in. It was a really weird match to be involved in. But look, I had plenty of chances, and that's the disappointing thing because I rely a lot on my scoring. I think it's normally my best attribute, but over the 2 days, it was pretty pathetic.
At number 2, it's one of the most emotional defeats in snooker. Junhui versus Mark Selby in the 2016 World Championship final. After years of pressure from fans in China and repeated near misses, Ding finally made it to his first Crucible final, becoming the first Asian player to do so. He had played brilliantly in the tournament, beating top players and showing incredible break building. But in the final, nerves kicked in. Selby, the ultimate grinder, controlled the pace and frustrated Ding with his safety play. Despite Ding making 7 centuries, he still couldn't close the gap. Selby won 18-14, and Ding left the arena in tears. It wasn't just a loss, it was the weight of a nation crashing down on one man's shoulders.
Mark Selby, 7.
And Ding has had a look at the referee. I never thought I was going to be saying this, but Mark Selby will be delighted to have lost this session 5 frames to 4. Well played, Ding Junhui. But Mark Selby has opened up a 3-frame advantage. It's 10-7 to the world number 1.
And at number 1, it's the ultimate heartbreak story in snooker. Jimmy White and his 6 losses in World Championship finals. From 1984 to 1994, Jimmy reached the finals 6 times and lost them all. He faced legends like Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry, but time after time, the dream slipped away. The most devastating came in 1994. White was 17-14 up on Hendry, just 1 frame from finally lifting the trophy. But Hendry did the unthinkable, winning 4 frames in a row to snatch it 18-17. Jimmy smiled in defeat, but everyone could see the pain. He had the talent, the flair, the crowd behind him, everything but the title. For snooker fans, Jimmy White's story is the greatest tragedy the Crucible has ever seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I can talk either. The 1994 Embassy Snooker Champion of the World and still champion, Stephen Hendry.
Sometimes the most powerful stories in snooker are about what didn't happen. Which loss hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. And if this video moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more untold stories from the snooker world.